I'm here with Munro from Rabobank to talk about some of the global marketing options for cattle at the moment and a bit about what's happening on the world scale. So it's pretty tough and dry here in parts of New South Wales at the moment, Bernie, but there are some options still available.
Yeah, certainly there's options available, and the key is really understanding the markets that those cattle can go to, specifically whether they're going into feedlotters. A lot of cattle on feed in Australia at the moment, it's about 1.1 million head. But it's also understanding who in the world commodity supply chain is in the marketplace and understanding herd rebuilding, for instance. So Australia currently going through a herd rebuild, as is the US market. So, the US market's got an expected 2 or 3 years of herd rebuild before it stabilises at about that 32.5 million cows. So if you think of supply and demand specifically for trim into the US, it's probably not until about 2021-22 when that'll peak. I think the challenge is, though, as the US build their herd, obviously they're doing a good job in terms of quality, so they're going to put pressure on our higher quality Asian market points. But it's about putting it in perspective as we build through this phase. Still market options there, though.
So where the dollar is at the moment, where the industry is at the moment, there are some good options for Australian export cattle at the moment?
Oh, certainly there is. And if you think about it, we've filled a hole in the last 2 to 3 years in terms of supply. So Australian cattle slaughter levels peaked in 2014 at 10 million head. And that's when the US was in its minimum herd size. So we put a lot of beef into China. We basically took up market share, and it was good timing. In 2016, though, the Australian slaughter levels were at their lowest in 20 years at 7 million head. So, we're still trying to rebuild our herd, somewhere around the 26 million head total at this point in time. And suggestions are that it might take us a little bit longer. We may well take another 2 or 3 years if we actually get to that 28 million.
But the taste is certainly there for Australian cattle.
Certainly it is, and I think the US, in terms of their desire for our trim manufacturing beef, and certainly some of the Asian markets we've pushed into, certainly there. We just need to be mindful of the effect of some larger commodity style producers in the world, particularly Brazil, Argentina, and their beef herds up around the sort of 275 million mark. So, there's a ripple effect. They've been very good at putting beef into China, lowering that market slightly. It lowered about 13% in the last 12 months. So we're just going to be mindful about the quality of the article and where we're actually placing it.
But it is a time that local producers can be confident that there are options for them.
Yeah, so this time, unlike others when it's gotten dry, is there are still market options available, and the price of cattle is still reasonably high in comparison to, say, 10-year averages. The average across the last 10 years for, say, trade cattle is $2.48. The market's still well above that at this point in time. So it's a good time, but we need to be mindful of other proteins filling those sort of market voids like pork and obviously chicken. So, there's still a desire, but we need to be mindful of the balance of the market.
That's great. Thanks for your time.